YouTube. I like how we're taking the audio into visual, so you can join us there. It is time for our spotlight segment, and we have Sister Nadia Bhayat, who's actually on our spotlight. Her passion is for helping people thrive and just not survive. It had led her to a degree in psychology and double honors degree in speech therapy and audiology. She trained as a Neuro-Rehab Specialist and has a diploma in Montessori teaching. She also has a master's in health management and leadership from the UK. Her interest in advocacy work developed early on in her career and was refined by her work in the medico-legal field. Now, there's so much that Sister Nadia is actually doing, has learned, has studied, and has equipped herself. And I think that's what makes her such an amazing urban woman, and hence you can see why she's on our spotlight today. Without further ado, Assalamu alaikum, Sister Nadia, and welcome to our spotlight segment on urban women.
Wa alaikum salam, Razia, and shukran for having me.
Afwan, it's an absolute pleasure. Now, subhanAllah, understanding how much you have studied and things like that is so inspiring. And it makes us remember the beautiful saying of seeking knowledge from cradle to the grave. If I may ask, what inspired your transition from clinical roles to leadership and advocacy work in the healthcare sector?
I think, Razia, my passion has always been in service. And, everybody thinks success is a ladder. It's not a ladder, it's a jungle gym. Sometimes, sometimes you're stuck on a monkey bar and you're holding on with one hand.
Right.
And it's constantly you go forward, but it's almost like you need to stop, reassess, see where you are and which way you need to move towards. So I would say leadership is, we are all leaders, Razia. Mm-hmm. We do not need a title to be Correct. A leader. And that is in all aspects of our life. From I work with a lot of little ones, and little ones lead. They can wrap you around their little finger.
Absolutely.
So I just think it's important when you move into different positions and senior management positions, mm-hmm. that you understand what it is and how it is you should be leading and what it means to lead. Yes. Razia, for me, it's as a woman, I have mm-hmm. learned we lead in different ways to men. And it doesn't mean that one is better than the other, but we mm-hmm. need to embrace who we are as women. And we have a different way. And often it's like, we were told, and especially if your mentor happens to be a male figure, it's like, we lead like this. You need to be strict. You need to be, but that takes away the essence of who we are as women. Mm-hmm. We mm-hmm. are empathetic. We are embracing. We are much gentler. And it doesn't mean you need a big stick to lead. You can lead with cups of tea.
Beautifully said. Beautifully said. And we are nurturers. And there's a reason why man is man and woman is woman. And I think if the both can blend in, the energies coming together in unison can be so amazing. But beautiful advice there. And I must say, I love that analogy that success is not a ladder. It's a jungle gym. Urban women, have you heard that? Because that makes so much of sense. And that is, it is so real. And I think that is what we definitely do experience in life. If you can share with us, Sister Nadia, how did your experience in shaping the healthcare system at a Johns Hopkins facility actually influence your approach to healthcare management and patient care as well?
It was a wonderful time to be, this was in the Middle East. And mm-hmm. when I got there, in terms of looking at healthcare and especially looking at therapy services, which was pretty new. And it was almost like we have this right now in our big government hospitals. If you're in a morning clinic, you've got to be there at 7 o'clock. There's
Mm-hmm.
no appointments made, right?
Right.
And that was what happened at, we all believe that we come with our Western ideas of what it is like and how
Mm-hmm.
we manage things. And it's like, no, this is how it is, right? And
Mm-hmm.
my question was, if you've got parents and mothers who are sitting there from 7 o'clock, but only being seen at 11 o'clock,
Mm.
those children are irritable, they're tired. Why are we doing that? For me, that does not show respect. Respect
Mm.
for what you have to go through. I mean, you're here for a service, but let's be respectful of each other. And it's
Absolutely.
almost my favorite word was and still is, Razia, is why. Why do
Wow.
we do something? Why,
Absolutely.
Um,
Yes.
and when you look at something and you think, oh, it's not working, but let me continue because that's the way it's always been. No,
Mm-hmm.
stop. Say why. Why can't you effect change? And so I asked this question, as a little therapist in an organization that had 4,000 people, right? It's like a little city. And I
Mm-hmm.
said, why? All right. And they said, but that's how it always is. And that's the most efficient way. And I said, okay, but in my little clinic, can I try something different? And they
Mm-hmm.
said, well, it's yours. You do as you like. And I did that. I scheduled appointments. And I said to parents, I respect your time, you respect mine. If you arrive a little later, then you can only be seen for that amount of time because there's other people and we need to be respectful. But as yet, it worked like a charm. You know,
Alhamdulillah.
parents would be sitting there saying, here, we don't have to sit here and for hours. And
Absolutely.
when you want to, it's almost like if you want to bring about change, just do something different. It doesn't
Mm-hmm.
have to be big. It's that little pebble that goes into the water and there's that ripple, right? And so we always think of change being massive and big and huge, it
Mm-hmm.
isn't. It
Uh-huh.
starts with the little. I like to say, let's learn to lead with the little. It's the best
Beautifully
way.
said. Beauty. You are a woman of so much of knowledge. Every bit of things that you are saying, it's like golden nuggets, I can say. And I'm having so many aha moments. And you're talking about such precious little gems, children. And we know that you also deal with autism or autistic kids. Now, in your work with Action in Autism, what has been the most significant challenges and success in advocating for people with autism?
I think, Razia, most people know the little children with autism
Mm,
because there's been this huge campaign of awareness, which we need.
right.
It's been an amazing professional journey for me because I've worked on 3 continents, Europe, the Middle East, and Africa, not just South Africa. And still today, you think, we have instant access to Google on our fingertips.
Mm-hmm.
Still, diagnosis is still a huge thing. I'm seeing children being misdiagnosed or diagnosed very late.
Okay.
And we think about, autism being something that only impacts young people or young
Mhm.
children.
And those children
And
grow.
they grow up,
Mhm.
right? So when
Mm.
your 2-year-old lies on the floor and has a little, well, most people call it tantrums, we know it's actually a meltdown because I cannot cope anymore. It's cute. But when you're
Mhm.
12 and when you're 22, it's no longer cute. So
Not at
we
all.
do not think that our children grow. And
Mm.
A big thing for me right now is inclusion. You walk around, you walk around any of our communities or in a mall. How often do you see someone with a disability?
Uh-huh. That's a good question,
Right?
eh? Bringing awareness to it. Yep.
Huge. So for me, disability is still very much a hidden aspect of society. After HIV and AIDS in our country, our biggest population is people living with disabilities, right? So we've got to do a lot more to advocate. You may see and recognize someone in a wheelchair, but with autism, you look the
Mm,
same, you know? And then we kind of look at that mother whose child is, like I say, having a meltdown, and you think, oh, but she's not parenting right. Not
correct.
realizing that that might be a
Mhm.
mother with a child with autism, right?
Yes. So quick to
So
judge.
very quick. And it's
Mhm.
almost like she needs you. And what we need to say is, how can I help you?
Beautiful
So
question.
instead of wagging our finger or looking at her saying, are you a bad parent? It's like, how can
Mhm.
I help you? We
Wow.
know people in our communities, right?
Mhm.
And are we reaching out to them? So, this to me is a huge, huge thing. Do not make disability such a stigma. It's huge stigma, especially in our Muslim community. And I would like to say, let's open doors. Let's have honest conversations. A parent said to me the other day, he said to me, Nadia, it's no longer the dreaded C word for cancer, it's the dreaded A word for autism.
Oh boy. Look at that. Look at
Why?
that.
You
Why?
know? And
Mhm.
it's huge because you literally do not know where to turn. So at Action in Autism, I'm very proud to say we empower, we educate, and we advocate for all people on the autistic spectrum.
That is so beautiful because realizing that nobody asked for what they are going through and the challenges that they have, nor did the parents ask to have those kind of children. But of course, if Allah Azza wa Jal gave it and there's khair in it, and there's so much of blessings and reward. And what a beautiful question. You're helping us to bring the humanity back into us by asking the mum, how can I help? Instead of just, as you say, wagging our finger and going straight into judgment and think we are so better than other people. Everyone has their challenges. We just don't know what it is. On the surface, things may look very, very different, but let's not judge. Beautiful, beautiful one. So remember, people, how can I help you? Now, Alhamdulillah, Sister Nadia, you have traveled so much. You have been in so many continents, and we can hear the growth mindset from the way you speak and the way you see things and the way you can integrate it. Now, what advice would you give to young professionals interested in pursuing a multidisciplinary career in healthcare across different continents?
I think, Razia, the first thing is to, well, you need to, why we're here, we need to ask ourselves that question, right? We are here in service of others.
Mhm.
And once you
True.
find what that purpose is, so purpose is service, but what are you passionate about? And if
Mhm.
healthcare is something you are passionate about, people are, I think health and education go hand in hand. You shouldn't actually be able to have one on, without the other, because without understanding why clean water is important, you won't have good health. So if
Correct.
you are passionate about that, I believe the best things are because when you integrate healthcare, so we look at it from a more dynamic perspective. So we not,
Mhm.
shouldn't be myopic. We need to open our lens and say, okay, what is happening in this community?
Mhm.
Healthcare is not a prescriptive thing. It is individualized to meet the needs of a community.
Right.
So, and that's something I can say for wherever I was in the world, whether it was in the UK, in a little Welsh village, or, somewhere close to the Omani border, right?
Mhm.
People
Right.
want to feel that they are listened. You listen to them and you respect their perspective. Nobody wants to be dictated to. So
Mm.
often you come in and somebody says, I know what's best for you, but do you
Mhm.
really?
Uh-huh.
Can we
Uh-huh.
take that knowledge and actually use it in a way that best suits you, best fits you, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
And the greatest success stories in health is when you do that.
Absolutely. And then you're serving from the heart, absolute passion and with true authenticity. And that's what we can hear coming through. And, clearly we can see that your passion is for helping people thrive and not just survive from what you're saying and the awareness that you're sharing with us as well. You're an amazing urban woman, I must say. How do you actually strike that balance between your personal life and your professional life?
Razia, it is difficult. Mental health, health professionals, burnout is a huge thing because we're so passionate about what we do. We tend to, constantly work 24/7. Even if you're
Yes.
not at work, your mind is busy going. So you
Uh-huh.
actually have to consciously disengage. And you've got to find things that feed you. My sister says that you can only give from a cup that runs over. So when you are full, then you can think of serving others. You cannot
Absolutely.
serve from an empty cup. So
Absolutely.
it is a conscious effort that you've got to make. So, I like to I call them walk and talk sessions where
Right.
you have a group of friends and you go for a walk and you share your day and you share the challenges. I think
Mm-hmm.
it's so important to have friends that are not just your peer group but are intergenerational, young ones, older ones, because you learn. I learn constantly. My 2-year-olds teach me, and your 82-year-olds teach you too.
Correct.
And it's great to have that wider perspective. I like to do that. Yes, walking, hiking, reading. I often get pulled into projects that have nothing to do with health professionals. A friend of mine who's an architect pulls me into doing things with him. And, I will say, oh, we have more old people in the world now, or aging people, than we do young people. Do you know? And we go off on a tangent. So it's wonderful to surround yourself with people who constantly spark your interest and your passion.
Alhamdulillah. As we say, seek knowledge from cradle to the grave. Learning never ends. And yes, we learn from the young, the old. I mean, even our children, they teach us so much as well. As we wrap up, Sister Nadia, what is your take home message for our urban women listeners this morning?
I think we need to lead with the culture of kindness. We have
Mm,
forgotten how to be kind. And kindness starts with us, Razia. We need to
mm,
be kind to ourselves. We are our worst critics.
true.
We're constantly seeking perfection. Perfection doesn't exist.
Hmm.
It
That's true.
does not
And
exist.
only
We
authenticity does. Yes.
Yes, and we all unique, and we bring unique perspectives, and let's enjoy that. Let's I like to say live juicy. Find the fun in everything we do, but be kind to yourself, because only then can we actually cultivate a culture of kindness. The world needs more love, Razia.
Absolutely. Well said. Here's a message coming through from Sister Layla. She says, beautiful, mashallah. Absolutely wonderful. Lovely message. So you say you like live juicy, find the fun in everything. So I think you live by the age when life gives you lemons. You definitely making the lemonade. It's been so wonderful connecting with you, Sister Nadia, and Jazakallah khair for enlightening us on how we should live. Kindness, I think, is really lacking. Love is really lacking because essentially internally we don't have these elements within us. We're fighting the demons within us, and we're then obviously extending it into the extrinsic world and unto others. So inshallah, may we all find the love within us, be kinder to ourselves so we can be kind to each other. Until we connect again, do have yourself a lovely day. Keep going. May Allah Azza wa Jal allow you to continue to prosper in all your future endeavors as well. Till then, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam, and shukran for having me.
Afwan. So wonderful connecting with the Sister Nadia Bhayat. She is a woman that indeed has a lot of value to share with us urban women, and hence she was on our spotlight. Definitely worth it. Time for a break. I'll be back to wrap up in a bit. Stay tuned. Urban Woman, sponsored by Vada Gold Gem